Hello, I'm Kathy Chester, and this is Move It or Lose It, a podcast about all things that move the mind, body, spirit, and soul.
Switching it a little gear because I know there's so many of us for the patients. I know that. And like, and
coming from a medical background, and that is the profession that I chose to get into. After being in the profession for a very long time and going through what I did with my best friend and my father, I agree with you 100%. There are so many things out there that doctors only see black and white, and all the cultural differences. Doctors don't recognize that, you know, not every patient is the same.
Right.
They're gonna have different symptoms, and I applaud you for that. That we do need to get them out 100%. There. They need to start listening and realizing that there are certain things that they have to look at. It's not just.
I'm changing it even down to like last night when my son went into the ER. Don't worry about his fucking insurance card. Get the child treatment and worry about that after.
Deal with that after.
It is not the priority. And we're going to work it out. I'm not dealing with that anymore. And I said that last night. I'm going to get bold and I'm done.
You know what, Julie, I think the main thing about that, and I'm glad you mentioned your child, because it goes across the board. We find it out. And I found it out when I was 19. And honestly, I had a loud mouth. I was on Medi-Cal all my life, which is Medicare. You know, growing up a poor child in the project. So I learned how to navigate the system, I guess you could say. Yeah. But I learned that honestly, you are your own advocate. The doctor can do whatever they want. The physical therapist, everyone can do whatever they want. But if there's one thing that I advocate for my girls, of course, but for myself, since the start of this whole thing, it's that the power is in my hands. I decide what drug I'm on or not. Right. I decide what's happening at all times. And I have always tried to bring that to my girls.
Yes, I love that.
You make the decision.
And you can fire your doctor.
And they work for you. Okay. That's right. They work for you.
I fired several of them in the almost 18 years since I was diagnosed. Yeah.
And it's okay to, I would say for me, it was going to Cleveland that really started not just kindly, you know, it's always very soft spoken and sweet and everything's right and we'll change the world. And then it just was like, F this shit.
Yeah.
Cleveland,
you hit
this
30.
And
I just turned 30. You hit 30, that's it.
Well, you hit 42 apparently. That's
whatever.
I'm 40.
You know what? I think we all can, whatever age it is, we can all like say there was that milestone age. My photographer said it to me. She's like, I felt amazing when I turned 30. I felt like no one could tell me what to do. I felt like I had the head on my shoulders and I didn't need no one's advice. I was like, you know what?
Yeah. Oh, I had a meltdown before 33. My husband found me in the shower, like on the floor. I'm like, I haven't accomplished much yet.
Well, that's okay too. That happens too. But I think it's really, really important just to learn that, you know what, not only are we the mothers of our children, so we decide if we have more kids with a disease or without a disease. But we decide the medication. We decide when we go out on date nights. My mom's not going to tell me, you know what I mean? Yeah. I just learned that life's too short.
Yeah.
One thing.
Yeah. YOLO. You only live once.
Honestly, my turning point was when I went to a doctor the other day and she was typing the summary notes, not looking at me while I was in the appointment. And I'm like, you psychopath, make eye contact with me. Yeah. And so I hit the desk. I was like, here.
Good for you.
And I'm like, no, like, you don't even, I was like, is this the way you would treat your daughter at Thanksgiving dinner? I mean, so
I've had appointments, you know, like regular set appointments or whatever, where I felt weak, you know, where I just didn't think I was going to be able to communicate as well. And that was a big part of why I had to
to quit practicing law is because the cog fog was so bad. And
Right.
so, I mean, I've been known to take, I mean, I was married and my husband was a great advocate. And it's funny because when I showed up to appointments without him, the doctor would say, "Oh, you must be doing well because your husband's not here." Because he always showed up, you know,
Yeah.
to make sure if something was not going well. But like, you know, now I'm at the point where, you know, if I'm having a bad day or whatever, I have a community of friends that will go with me, you know, and we can tag team the doctor, or if I can't express myself well enough, I know that they will step in and help because they know what I want and what I need. And I'm not going to just, you know, because I'm having a foggy day, you know, I'm not going to just get railroaded. And
Right.
yeah, it's just not worth it. It's, you
I
know,
have to make notes. I can't go anywhere without written notes now because
Yeah.
you just get in front of somebody and you're like, I don't know. Why are you
Yeah.
here?
The
Just
notes app in my phone, I keep
Oh, yeah.
notes for
Oh, all the
everything.
time. Me too.
everything.
Yeah.
If it's not written down, I won't do it.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly.
But
And that's
you know
why it's
what?
nice
I
because, you
think
know, everybody takes their phones everywhere with them. And so,
Right.
yeah.
that's another thing, and I'm like hitting on points in my program, but that's a new like thing that I have so realized the importance of is like, you need to know yourself. What is your method? You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what? I have to have everything written down. I don't like the phones.
Mhm.
I guess I'm a 90s baby. I don't know. But
I like this
like I
giant
said, I just
Post-it
turned
note.
20.
Hey,
Oh.
I was
I
born
have
in 81.
Brittany, I have your name written down.
See, I have it here. It's in my iPad. I'm like, there's so many things to remember.
Yeah. Oh, I keep everything documented. I mean, like I have
Yeah.
just to remember to take, you know, still the daily meds that I need. Obviously, I'm not on my DMT anymore, but, you know, I still do have, you know, some of the, you know, I had such longstanding damage from the MS, you know, it was 15 and a half years before I had HSCT. So it's, you know, just to remember to take meds at the same time of day. Like my reminders app, I couldn't function without it.
You just
Whatever
reminded
works.
me, Cassidy, I missed my meds at 5 o'clock.
Oh
when you
no,
said that.
Dawn, go get them.
Yeah.
Whatever works.
Yeah.
Whatever works.
You need a reminder, Zach,
Okay.
Dawn.
There we go.
Yes.
All right, guys. Back again.
Okay.
All right. So thank you guys. So I'll just continue where I think I was on, right? Was I talking? Yeah, I was
we
talking
wrapped
about.
up, I think
Yeah.
everyone just about.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys Jen, you look frozen.
Jen, I was gonna say, Jen, do you have any, you were the only one who didn't say anything.
Yeah, you haven't. I'll finish this and then Jen, I want you to talk because you haven't said anything.
Okay.
Okay. So I talked about Cleveland. So I'll finish that off and then I want you to say something. Okay. So after Cleveland and just realizing that no one was really there to support me. It was about them giving me their best choice. And it was like the pressure was on, you either choose us or this just not going to work. You choose this medication or go somewhere else. And then going to Columbus and having the biggest jerk put me on something that I should never have been on. It was just a nightmare. And so really got me advocating in a new way, a bolder way, really focusing harder on my podcast, focusing harder on really taking the people who took advantage of me with the MS, learning to really working out with my MS and my autoimmune clients and having the big man bullies, in charge of all that. And really looking at myself and saying, when did I ever need that? Yes, I need tech help, obviously, but I don't need a man to show me how to work with my MS clients or my other clients, and really just taking that for myself and saying, I've been doing this for 20 years. I know what I'm doing. I know how to help you guys get stronger. I don't need some big,
about, by the way.
big corporation man telling me how to do my thing. So I think for me, that was a big step to know that I know what I'm doing and to do it. So Jen, go for it, girl.
Well, I just feel like we've had a conversation about wanting to do more, getting out there more, helping more. And when I started the MS Instagram page, I had no idea there was a community out there. Maybe just a little bit. I started following a hashtag, MS Warriors, and people wearing orange, and they did, their runner walks, marathon and fundraising. So I just was really low. I handed my phone to my daughter and I said, help me, with this page. And it just kind of went from there. And it just felt really good to be supported, because that's what I needed at the moment. I felt really alone and just lost. But to support people, that felt so good. And, meeting people, being able to talk about this journey. I had been on this journey and I hadn't really been talking to anybody with MS.
Right.
So just even seeing you, Kathy, like my mind was blown. There is a blonde woman with MS that runs a gym, people with MS are Pilates instructors.
Yeah.
I don't know, just a light bulb went off.
Yeah,
how could I have been so, secluded and isolated, not aware?
Yeah.
And so for me, it just kind of went on from there, joining podcasts. The pandemic was a good time to do, Pilates classes and talking with people that have autoimmune, that sort of thing. And I was able to reach more people.
Definitely.
Doing the certification program, things like that. And just really recently, my kids are finally grown. I have one left in the house. I'm finding that I have more time on my hands. I'm back at work, not everything virtual. So what's next? And that's kind of what I've been thinking about too. How can I, spread awareness or help people, especially in this community? Of course, we need a cure. Where does this go next? And so I've kind of been talking with different people and see where the sparks,
Right. Absolutely. And like Brittany said, just put yourself out there. I mean, you have a great voice. You have a tremendously caring heart, and you're a great mom. And so I think you putting yourself out there is you're just kind of contagious.
Thank you.
I mean, I think that about all of you.
I do share, good days and bad days. And like that day that I started the page, here's my bad day.
If you follow Jen, she is great on social media at showing her shitty days. I mean, just really good about like, this sucks and I'm staying in bed today. So I really love that, because we need that, we need that. And then the next day she's like, I feel okay. I'm going to go for a walk. So I think that's so, so important to be able to share. So before we go in, because I do want to know what you guys have coming forward, something that's exciting, but you might want to grab some wine, because we're going to talk about sex, baby. Talk about
Do you like how I added that music?
Yeah. Do you like that? So I was hoping you were going to sing us a song. Ready, Brittany? Go for it.
I have a terrible song.
Go for it, Brittany. Whatever you want to sing.
All I can hear is Let's Get It On in my head.
All right, I don't know why I just said I want to talk about. I love my little Marvin Gaye. I don't know why Salt and Pepper came to me, but that's what came.
Probably because when you put your advertisements out about all of us, I shared it and then I added to it.
Probably.
Yeah.
But so this is the topic that no one talks about, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember ever going to the doctor and him asking, how is your sex life? Ever.
Oh, no.
So nor did I ever know that would affect a female with MS. But I also didn't know that I'd pee my pants just on a walk, or just, getting up and standing with a friend and just looking down and there'd be a puddle of pee. So many things that we didn't know. So, who's going to be the bold one to talk about sex first? How does it affect our MS bodies?
Cassidy.
All right.
My Italian friends over here, Brittany and Julie, that have no filter, brace yourselves.
All right. Who's going to go first? Julie's off for a minute. Brittany and Cassidy were tied.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Go for it, girl.
Sexual dysfunction is real. I went through so many years thinking that I was just asexual. Like I had no desire, I didn't care. I was like, oh, I can live without sex for the rest of my life. I don't care.
Right.
Like nothing. And then, you know, they say that, and they're not wrong, that things kind of change when you hit your 30s. And so then that, you know, because I was diagnosed in my 20s. And so then in my 30s, things changed a little bit. Plus I got divorced. So, you know,
You went a little crazy.
Well, yeah, maybe a little bit.
I mean, that happens after divorce. You go a little wild for a bit.
You do. You go a little wild. And so I kind of rediscovered sex and realized that I did actually have a sex drive and I wanted more of it.
Yeah.
And sex was really good for a really long time. And
see, Julie, hurry up, get on. You're missing sex.
Yeah, we're talking about sex now.
I have the 1 hour bladder, so
you're fine.
Sorry.
And then actually, you know, sorry to have to digress back to this, but with HSCT, I've gone through menopause twice.
Wow.
Yeah. So I finally found the correct hormone replacement therapy. Cause I'm way too young. You know, I'm 40, I had HSCT at 38. I went into menopause less than a month after HSCT was over. It was record amount of time that I went into menopause. And oh dear God, that was terrible. I used to, I'm sorry for anybody that's gone through menopause. I apologize to you.
I have not yet. So just still waiting.
Okay. So I used to I'm like, because when you have had MS and you go through so many different things, I'm like, oh, you're just such wimps. How bad can a hot flash be? Oh, yeah, it's bad. Those hot flashes are no joke at all. And so I went into my doctor and she took one look at me and she's like, you're having hot flash right now, aren't you? And I said, yep. Mm-hmm. I'm real uncomfortable, testing my blood work, and I was in fact in menopause. And so she did hormone replacement therapy and did that for a while.
How did that work with your MS? Oh, you just said no. Wow.
Because what she did was she just put me on pills to start, and the pills helped. And then I see an urogynecologist too, because of the bladder issues.
Right.
And the urogynecologist during one of the exams, again, TMI, said, you seem kind of dry down there. Why don't we add this gel too? So I was doing the pills and the gel. And then, because I did move in that time, and so I have a new gynecologist, she prescribed one of the patches for me.
Okay.
And so that seems to be my sweet spot. So now I have a healthy sexual appetite again. I will never go off of not HSCT. I will never go off hormone replacement, HRT.
So that's the patch.
It's the patch.
So the patch helps you feel the sensation, or it also makes you want to. Okay.
All of it. Yeah. I no longer feel that I'm asexual. Now I want sex,
which is good. Which is really good.
Yeah. And so, fortunately I can have sex and enjoy it again.
Which we all should be able to. And I think that's the thing too, for our newly diagnosed that are going to go through all these things and they don't know that yet. Exactly. And when they do, they need to know there are places to go to, and they need to be strong women that are willing to talk about it. And we can say, hey, we've been through. Absolutely.
Talk to your talk to your urologist. If you're having, bladder issues, you're seeing a urologist too. And like I said, I'm fortunate enough that I see a gyno-urologist.
Right.
So, they helped kind of step in, but then the new gynecologist that I'm going to, since I've moved back to Chicago because that's where I had HSCT, that gynecologist has been great. And I do have a really high breast cancer risk in my family. So this is probably something that Bernadette, you could kind of understand a little bit as a nurse, where, she wanted to be careful with the hormones because because my mother was only 5 years older than me at 45. She hadn't been through menopause yet, but 5 years older than me when she was first diagnosed with breast cancer. So, there was a lot of research that had to go into what exactly was appropriate. Yeah.
And I actually was about to ask you, since being on the hormone replacements or hormone therapy, have you noticed any of your MS symptoms kind of subside a little? Because estrogen, you know, a lot of the studies coming out that estrogen helps.
It helps.
Yeah. But
helps.
for you've got to be extremely careful.
Yes, I do.
You're like double whammy, girl.
Yes, yes. And so, but now what that means is because I was supposed to start getting mammograms when I was 21.
Right.
And I never got around to it, you know, and then I was diagnosed with MS, and it's like, okay, I got MS, like that's enough to deal with. And, you know, and so I finally got around to getting my first mammogram, I think when I was 28, and things were fine. And it wasn't until a couple of years ago that I started being more regular about it. And so now it's just because of my double whammy risk of like having the hormone replacement and having the breast cancer history. It's, you know, not only do I do the annual mammograms, but I have to do then in the alternating 6 months in between, they'll do ultrasounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have they done the BRCA test on you?
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
I actually just had that done at the beginning of the year, and I'm negative. So that's good.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was ready.
Good.
I was prepared.
Hey, Cassidy, if they can do a full genetic testing on you, that's what they did on me.
That's what they did.
January 2020, I came back positive for check 2. That's why what year are we? Are we in 2000?
We're in
2021.
21.
Yes.
What year is it?
We only have a month left. Though.
I know, right?
So August of 2020, I underwent a double preventative mastectomy.
Yeah.
Because it was like a 65% chance of developing, and I'm like, MS is enough. Cut them off.
Yeah,
my husband's a butt guy, you know.
Yeah, so it's like after I got through HSCT and everything, I'm like, okay, now I'm ready to go and get the genetic testing, and so they did all of the full genetic testing, and I was ready for the preventative.
And I don't know if you guys have seen Brittany's, if you follow her, but the way that she showed her going through the breast cancer and the way that she showed after, it was just absolutely beautiful. I mean, you've got to go back and watch her videos, and it was just absolutely beautiful the way that she shared it, and so honest and authentic and open. And
before I went through it, I was on YouTube, like Googling, like, okay, what does a mastectomy drain look like? And I found like, oh my gosh, Paige Proviver. I can't remember her last name. And there were a few others on there, but there were only maybe like 2 or 3 women like putting it all out there with the scar pictures and the drains and how to empty them. It's like, okay,
I remember it with my mom. I never want to do it again. I never want she's here. She's living upstairs right now. So she's fine. But I never want to see it. I don't want anyone I know, anyone that I don't know to go through it.
Oh my gosh, hormonally, I was a monster.
Oh my gosh. I remember like she couldn't move her arms, and this is like this day.
No.
So like brushing her teeth, I was trying to do it, and I was trying to be gentle, and she was like, give me the fucking toothbrush.
Nothing is sacred with my husband anymore. He had me. I couldn't use my arms to wipe. All the pain medication backed me up. So there were multiple enemas involved, and we're like, okay, well, you know, this is what we signed up, and I would gladly do it for him. One day. But no, it was a process. But the hormone thing after, I was a beast.
Yeah.
Nobody was safe.
Yeah.
It is true. Like some of our medications just make us. So Brittany, for you, since I know you'll share everything sexually, what did that do for you?
Well, it's funny. So my husband and I, we've been together almost 5 years. And I was diagnosed 4 months after we got married.
Okay.
And, very, very active sex life with each other, and very, very comfortable. And, everything is just out there. So Donnie's very used to me.
Right.
We don't really balance each other because he's like, the black and white, very like structural thinker. And I'm like, but I have feelings, and the feelings lead everything that I do.
Right.
But I was kind of like in the same mindset that Cassidy was at, with just saying like, oh my gosh, like I just don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
And that was so not me that I was like offending myself. Like I was literally just offending myself. So, you know, John and I, we've talked about it. I told him where I was coming from. Now I do say that I'm a little bit lucky because John and I have about 19 and a half years difference in our age. So he's 19 and a half years my senior. So it's like, I'm going through all of this with trying to find myself and trying to like get that, you know, get me all squirrely again and stuff. And, you know, Johnny, he's an electrician. He works his butt off. He works tons of overtime and on standby. So he comes home and he's tired. So it's like, oh, yay.
Right.
Kind of like a bonus. But what I did notice is when we did, you know, become more active and stuff, that my feeling down there was like, it was either painful or I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say like the first like sexual term. You guys
right.
Clitorally. Literally, there was no sensation.
Yes.
And I'm like, wait a minute, you know, that's like my hot spot. And it was like it was broken. And I remember telling Johnny, I'm like, I feel like my vagina is broken. I'm like, this is absolutely bizarre. So we actually started playing around with marijuana gummies with low THC, high CBD.
Like down there?
No, just like ingesting edible gummies. But I, just because I'm super, super sensitive, I don't drink just because I don't like the way it makes me feel. I'm a control freak. I have to be in control. So very low THC, but with high CBD. And when we tried that, it was like, oh, it's back.
Really?
Yeah. So that's one thing that we keep in our
everybody's putting their orders in right now.
I know, right? Well, and living in California too, it's like we have everything so easily accessible.
Right.
So that's definitely one thing that's a regular in our toolkit, because it's like, that's still so important. And as a wife, it's like, I feel like I have an obligation to please my man. You know what I mean? Without just like putting on Netflix and being like, okay, I'm going to watch and work.
Right.
You know?
Right.
To really like find that connection again. So that's something that has tremendously worked for me. Also, my OBGYN, they did a pelvic exam, and she was also telling me that I guess the walls of my uterus are in spasm. I don't know if that's MS related. The second I said muscle spasticity, she goes, oh my gosh, like she correlated the two like right away.
Right.
So now I haven't gone yet, but I have a referral for a physical therapist for down there, which I didn't even know was a thing.
Interesting.
I did physical therapy for my bladder, and that was my first physical therapy, and they put stuff up there.
Yeah.
They give you exercises.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I haven't gone yet, but I'm ready, because it's like, it didn't used to hurt.
Right. Now I wouldn't say, but for me, I don't have pain, but it can get very dry, and or the opposite. It's one or the other. Yeah. And then it's numb. There's just spots where I'm like, I don't feel that. And I think it's the biggest thing is the communication, right? Is to tell your spouse or your significant other is that I need you to move to the left or the right, or because I'm not feeling this. And that's a hard thing to say. And I actually was able to speak this to the men's group because they were sharing. And I just said, no, I know what it's like to be a female. I know what it's like to be in the middle of having sex and be like, I gotta go because I think I'm peeing, and I can't feel anything. I really can't. And I want to have sex with you. Is it better for you that I fake it and be like, oh, I'm so good, or that I'm honest and say, I can't feel it. We need to change it up a little. So I think that it's communication. It's awkward. And it's like, I don't remember feeling this in my early 30s. Why is this happening now?
Yeah. And I think having self-patience also, I mean, it's a complete blessing if your spouse is patient. You know, I'm very persistent and just in anything in general. So, you know, there's been instances where I haven't wanted to give up, and it's 40 minutes later, and he is so patient, you know, because then you start panicking because you can't perform. So then
God bless them.
Oh my gosh, his arm is probably going numb, and it's probably taking way too long, and he's probably thinking about where we're going to go to dinner for night. but having, a spouse that's patient, but also having patience with yourself and saying, you know what, maybe I just need to like chill out for an hour and then come back and see if my body wants to cooperate, and not feeling like a failure if it doesn't work.
Right.
Yep.
That's so good, Brittany. That's big, because we feel like a failure so often as a mom in so many ways. And that's the last thing we need to beat ourselves up about. We can't control what happens in the bedroom. We can't control if we pee. We can't control if there's no feeling or if it hurts, but we can communicate.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
And like sometimes for me, it's not about the finishing the marathon. It's more about the intimacy of it. So like, I literally have a reminder in my calendar, Wednesdays, Whip It Wednesday. And it's like,
I love that.
We won't be in the
We're
mood
not holding you
or
up
whatever. Like,
are we, Julie?
I know it is Wednesday, and we're having wine Wednesday.
It happened last night, so I don't know if I get a free card, but it's gonna happen tonight. No, so Wednesdays are like our thing.
Whip It Wednesday.
Yeah, Whip It Wednesday, and it's
so
like,
remember that, guys.
Whip It Wednesday.
I have it.
I'm gonna have to find a name for one of our nights.
You have to have it, like, and it doesn't have to. It just has to recenter the whole day, like just focus on it.
But I
like,
love that we're talking about it today and it's Wednesday. I just have to say,
it's gonna happen. I'm physically not in the mood, but maybe one day.
I love that too, because I can go in the bathroom by myself, talk myself into it, take a shower, just think about, oh my gosh, it's gonna be great, I'm gonna be okay. And not get so overwhelmed about like, gosh, I don't know, I'm tired, because I can feel super ready, and then 10 minutes I can feel like I'm gonna fall asleep. And so it's getting yourself ready, maybe not a jumping jack, because I will pee, but maybe something like some like punches or something that will get me started and revved up and ready. So
mine's
what else?
Josh Turner's Your Man, Baby Love.
Oh yeah, I can go for that. Yeah.
That's my song with Adam, because he's a cowboy. I'm a Brooklyn girl. So
yeah. I
So
like that.
Brittany was on to something, because I don't know if you ladies know that all in our bodies we have an endo cannabinoid system. Everybody has it. In the female body, the largest concentration of that system is in our vaginas.
Okay.
So
it's good. Sex is good for you.
Brittany was on one.
I know. I need to find Brittany,
so
we're legal in Colorado too. So tell us.
So Bernadette, what about for down there? Like if you're numb?
Brittany's CBD, because
can't cannabis down there though?
No.
Like lotion.
Orally.
I didn't know if there was lotion yet. That
I tried like a progesterone cream down there at first. Before I was married for 9 years before Adam, and it was just like, this isn't going anywhere sexually. So I would go to the urologist and just be like, make it work. And like fix this. It didn't work then, but then I met Adam and everything worked pretty quickly. So I think the mindset has to do it. Also, it has to do a lot with, there's so many things at play, like our bodies don't work. So no matter what, it's not good. Certain things aren't going to work. I use my arms to cross my legs. There are certain things that aren't going to work.
Yeah, sure.
But I think the revving yourself up to it and figuring out what works.
For sure. Definitely. I agree. Anyone else?
Well, has anybody tried toys in the bedroom?
I was going to say,
the areas that are a little numb. That
it helps you discover what works for you.
Okay, Jen, do you have a favorite toy?
Well, there are like vibrators that are smaller, like wand, so you can use it in more positions, say even the missionary position. So you can be lovemaking while feeling your clitoris. So,
they even got those little ones that go right there.
Exactly.
I got that for, I think, my bachelorette, and I was like, this was pretty good. I like this one.
It's good. It's just not strong enough for me.
Well,
I need like an electrical socket.
I couldn't find one that was strong enough. So we ended up finding one. It's by the maker WeVibe. So it's WEEVIBE.
Oh yeah.
And it was not cheap. I think we spent $170 on it.
Okay.
And it charges via USB. And I
Okay.
swear you could use this thing on an airplane and somebody would just say, hey, do you want these peanuts? Because they wouldn't have any idea.
Wow.
It's so quiet.
We'll have to put that on the bottom of the show notes.
It's so quiet and it's great. And the sense, you know, when you are in a shop and you're, you know, looking and stuff, they do let them test. They let you test them on the tip of your nose. They say that the tip of your nose is equivalent to the sensitivity of your hotspot.
Oh,
As
okay.
my husband walks in, hi, honey.
Yeah.
I'm home from work. I'm like, we're talking about the sex.
Well, and I had a
So when you're using them and you really want to, you know, see the sensitivity level,
Right.
hit it to the tip of your nose, and that will come.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
a
good
really good
to
idea.
know. I'm like, I can't feel it right now.
Right.
Yeah.
But she'll try it later.
Yeah.
I
You know what,
I'm like,
ladies? I
Yeah.
will say, as a birth doula, the clitoris is the one organ on our body meant entirely for pleasure. You know, we need to remember that, like, as females, like, we are made as pleasure centers, and we are made to embody the womanhood and stuff. And I think you know, the whole mind body connection gets lost a little bit with MS.
Right.
But you know what? I think in a lot of ways, it also gets stronger with MS because we have to connect certain things in our mind. We have to remember certain things. We have to remember certain feelings and stuff like that. And I think this is such an important topic, Kathy. Thank you so much for.
Oh, absolutely. I can tell you this, that the closer you get to 40, the more you're like, damn it, I want it now. And we will fix this shit. So I can promise you that the older you get, the more bold you are. You're like, I have to have this now.
Yes.
So we will fix it. So I do know that. So anyone else have anything that they want to share about the struggles they've had or ways that they've been able to fix it?
Oh, also, I didn't have my first orgasm until after I had my first child.
Well,
Wow.
woo, you had one.
I know.
Anybody having struggled having them? Anyone struggling now having them?
Yeah, it's like it gets stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at, because
It's like
it hit a numb
It just
spot.
takes a little longer.
Yeah,
It takes longer,
you're doing
for sure.
everything, like the science is there and you know what works and what doesn't work. And it's like, and then like it just it doesn't happen. It's so bizarre. Even with the gummies, sometimes it just, my body just says, sorry, try again tomorrow.
I know it can be frustrating. I can breathe and I'm like, okay, I know I can do this tomorrow. I know I can try this again. Just don't get so overwhelmed. But when it happens, you know, a few more times, then it's like, so.
Like
but
the little engine that could.
Yes, like, come on, I feel it's right there, but then it just stops. So
well, we're going to send you some links, okay, to
Yes.
some toys, and that
Yes.
will really,
Oh,
and then
you
you can
good.
have fun with it.
Yes,
and
for sure.
It'll help you.
So that's like a big thing that I think we just don't talk about. Melody, are you on? Are you around? Melody hasn't said anything. I don't know if she's out. She's silent.
I am sorry. I had to go to the
All right.
restroom.
Okay, you're good. Melody, what about sex?
I think for me, I feel like I've just been so out of it with my nutrition, or I'm just too young, and I'm so young that I haven't been affected at all, luckily yet. But hearing all of you guys, I was like, I don't know if I should be scared for the future or just like knowing in the back of my head, like it could happen and just know how to do it.
No,
know what
MS
to
is
do
such a
after that.
different disease, Melody. You're going to be fine.
Knowledge
Just keep
is
having
knowledge.
sex.
You should be excited.
Keep having sex.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get
big-
pregnant young. Like, just keep having
Right.
sex.
And
Yeah,
plus,
I like
now
that.
with all of us, you'll know what to do. You'll be
That's
like,
true.
I got this. I
I
got
know everything I
gel.
need to
I
know
got
now.
all this stuff.
And have
Make it-
fun, have fun and just get out of your head. I think that a lot of it is like us in our heads, because like you
100%.
said, Julie, our bodies aren't working, or, you know, this may be numb, but just go with it, you know? And I know when I was taking Tisabri, everything was numb. Tisabri didn't work for me. And so I was just like, okay, this is not going to happen, because I was like mid 30s. I'm like, this is never going to happen to me again. I'm never going to feel pleasure. And after Tisabri, it was, you know, back to normal, I guess. But,
Right.
you know, I still noticed a difference.
Yeah.
And I love this topic because I don't know if you all are familiar with the old podcast that I did, Myelin and Melanin. We did a 2-part series on intimacy.
Yeah.
And we talked about different kinks. We talked about love languages.
Talk about that, about the kinks. Cause I listened to that and I was like, that's going to be the next thing we do. Cause that was interesting.
You absolutely should. And I think it's important, especially for people who have MS, because as Brittany was talking about, she likes to be in control. That could be something that is welcomed in your, sacred space, in your bedrooms, because you want to be a dominatrix or you want to be dominated,
Not only that, Dawn, but I think it's important to touch on how are we going to progress with our disease. I've been with my spouse since I was 16. So we've been through it. You know what I mean? How are you going to progress with your disease when your body doesn't react quite the way it did when you were, 20 years old? How are you and your spouse going to progress with the different seasons of your life? It's such an important conversation. I agree.
Yeah. And be creative. Like Jen was saying, with the toys, you have to be creative, because we have to know that we're sexual beings. Number one, like, we're on this earth to do this. And not only this, but to enjoy it.
That is the only thing we were actually put on here to do is procreate. It's really funny because everything, as a birth doula, here's me going on. As a birth doula, everything comes down to sex. Everything, I took evolutionary psychology, and everything comes down to sex and furthering your lineage. So how are you going to make those things happen for you? You know what I mean? And however that manifests for you, those eventually come up. My dad just got diagnosed with diabetes. He's like, are you going to take care of me? I'm like, I'll try. I'll be there.
Yeah.
It's funny how different things really come up as important in our life, I guess you could say, as it progresses. I think she got off for just a little bit. It must have.
I think we lost her again.
Yeah. But I love this conversation. I love that we can be like so transparent, ladies, because like Whitney's like, oh, I'm right there. I'm like, I know. I'm like, I know what you're saying. Like, we can all relate to each other in a way that maybe, the listeners are also going to be able to relate and bond with us as well. So I think it's pretty great that we can have these conversations.
Well, and it's also, it's breaking that stigma of us thinking that there's something wrong with us. It's like, there's not. We just do things a little bit differently. That's all.
And we're also regular women dealing with everyday effing struggles of getting older and trying to have sex with 2 kids. All these other things.
I know. My husband and I we always joke and say, gosh, we wonder what age our son and daughter are going to be when they realize that, okay, they're in the room, the door's locked, and Black Sabbath is on. That's like always like our go. It's like, Alexa, play Black Sabbath.
It's the Doors for me, but to each his own.
No, Alexa off. It's right there.
That's awesome.
I love that.
I am so excited to meet you guys. And
I know, me too.
Dawn, I know you. I love you so much.
I love you too.
You are all lovely and inspiring. I just want to say, very inspiring, all of you.
I think we all have to connect because I think it's pretty great. And I have a big thing of like not seeing anyone's competition, more of like a collaboration. So
there's no other way to do it.
No.
Yeah.
I agree.
So it's just one of those things I have. So I'm here for you. And I'm going to hop off. That's when my kid go to bed because I'm freaked out about last night. So
yeah, I got a meatloaf that my kids just pulled out of the oven and it's killing me. I'm salvaged.
Yeah, I have a 10-year-old that's like begging me to stop reading. So
I know. He's like, Ma, stop.
Yeah.
Jack's already just like, are you done? You done? I'm like, all right. Well, I loved meeting you guys. I'm going to hop off, but we will meet again, I hope.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very sweet.
Kathy's
Bye,
back
guys.
on real quick. Just want to, Kathy, Julie's out and a few of us are going to be out, but I'm so glad you got to pop back on real quick.
Okay. I promise we are coming to an end. I've kept you guys on way too long. So I'm sorry. I love you guys. I want to do this again for sure, but a short one that we just talk about some of the things we didn't get to. I kept you guys on way too long, especially with this computer that's not doing whatever. But who was talking last about sex?
Might have
I
been
think we all-
Jen. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. We kind of all jumped in there.
Okay.
yeah.
So
have
I
to-
just don't
I
want
have
to
to-
jumpy. You got to go.
Yeah, my son, I would put him to bed.
So I want to go ahead and end it. So let's end it here and we'll come back. And I only want to do like another time, like a 40-minute one where we talk about as a woman, what we expect to see and what we're going to do. So we're going to end it now and we'll talk about it at a time we can come back. So honestly, this was way longer. So when we do it next time, plan on 40 minutes. Okay. So I will go ahead and so ladies, it has been awesome to be able to talk to you guys about sex and all the things that we need as women and just how to work this whole MS journey as women together. And I love you guys and the strength, and we've been talking forever. We will do one again and we'll talk about what our expectations are. I'm trying to do a heart and it's not working very well. So about our expectations for the next couple of years, what we want to see from the MS community and what our expectations are and how we're going to voice those. So love you guys so much. Thanks so much for doing this. I can't wait till it's on. And
Thank you.
thank you guys. Love you guys so
Love
much.
you.
Stay in
And
touch, everyone.
absolutely.
Definitely.
I
Bye.
can't wait to hear your
Bye.
album. Love you guys. Night, guys. Bye, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us today on Move It or Lose It podcast, where you can again find us every Tuesday and also wherever you like your podcast, whether it's Apple, Spotify, Stitcher. Join us on that. And we can't wait to see you again. We're going to have a lot of exciting guests and working together. And as always, you'll hear us say at the end of every podcast, we are stronger together. So let's do it. Let's become stronger together.